Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. So the first thing I want to do is give my wife props for the new swag. She's got a Cricut machine and she's going to town with that thing, and I really want to thank her for making these shirts. She's been doing all kinds of things. So recently in a video I did these on the CNC, raised panel doors. Now this one is a negative relief. You can see that the object is sunk into the top of the panel. This one is a positive relief. Stuff is coming off the top, pretty straightforward. But as happens more often than not in the shop, when you make something on a CNC, it comes out so nice, you don't want to throw it away. You don't want to just hang it on a wall. So I thought, what are we going to do with these things? I got an idea. You know I enjoy making boxes, fancy boxes I call them. I'm going to make two more of these, a different pattern, use them on the sides. I'm going to put a bottom on it, I'm going to put a top on it, and we're going to get started. So to begin, I went out to the old wood pile and got some spalted chestnut. I've got a sawmill back there, some of you know that. And that wood had a serious cup in it. What we're doing here is just measuring and cutting it to the width that we need. Then we're going to measure for length. Now I cut 3 of them because I didn't like the position of that knot right there, and I thought maybe when I put it on the mill I can work my way around that knot. As you know, I like to add a secondary type fence there with a nail gun, and this is my clamping system. Slide bar with some wedges. Quick, fast, and in a hurry it's into place. We're going to use an 1/8 inch end mill for this carve, and we're going to use the touch block. I don't use this thing very much. Typically I'll go off the center of the stock, use a piece of paper to get my zeros with. But there you have the Z. Now that's a new PWNCNC dust boot we just got. I just did a video on that thing. It's a pretty awesome tool. You check that video out. I'll leave a link to all the tools I use from PWNCNC in the description below. I also use their bit collars that allow you to change between tools without having to re-zero for your Z, X, or Y. Time for a tool change. Pretty simple. Break the front off, take one bit out, put the next bit in with the collars. Like I said, no need to re-zero for Z. Just push go and it will complete the carve. Now I decided on doing mitered corners on this box, so 45 degrees it is. And if you're paying attention, you can see that the insert got hit there with the blade. It took me a little bit to figure out what was going on. I had the blade way too high. This is a technique I use to locate the edge of the tooth on the blade so I can hit just the corner of the stock when I'm trimming it off. We've got a little block there clamped to the fence. And here we have my expert sander. She looks happy to be doing that. This is my homemade router table, and we're going to cut a groove in the bottom of that thing for the bottom of the box. Dado is probably the correct word for it. Clamp it in place, check the height, run the panels through, run all of your panels through at the same position, then adjust the depth of the router. Run each individual. Lisa, we got to do a top for that thing. What are you thinking? What kind of a scene?
I'm thinking a fruit platter or fruit tray.
Nope.
Why? Why ask me?
Try again.
I don't know. You got grapes on the side and bees on the end. A fruit platter.
Nope. Try again.
I don't know, Vernon. You decide.
Oh, thank you for giving me permission.
Now those of us that have been married a while know when your wife says she wants a fruit basket or fruit on the top of the box you're making for her, you're going to put fruit on the top. Now here I'm going to do a quick programming demonstration or a programming tutorial. You'll create a stock size, material size, create a box around the material, Then create an offset inward, approximately 1 inch or 1 inch in this case. Bring in your relief, adjust it for size, rotate it to the correct position, using the corner to maintain aspect ratio, using F9 to pop it in the center, turning it so that it fits correctly. Once we get it where we want it, we're going to come over and change the merge high selection to add. First we're going to adjust our Z height, then we're going to change it to add on the bottom right there. Paste it down. We're going to click the shift button in the left key and rotate to make sure everything looks correct. And then we're going to move on to creating tool paths. We're going to select that offset. We're going to do inside vectors only. You'll choose your tools. I'm changing that to 0.008. We're using an 1/8 inch ball nose for a finishing tool and a 1/4 inch end mill for a roughing tool. Not changing direction, speed, or feed on anything. Changing the safe Z to 1/4 inch and setting the material thickness to 3/4 of an inch. Calculating the red box, and we simulate just to make sure. Just for fun, I will change it from the standard simulation color to a wood looking color. Gives me a little better idea of what I got going on. Just like that. Looks pretty good. Pop it back in the center, check the tools, give it a name, hit save, and we're back in business. Load the new file. Hit jog, bring the machine over to the center to make sure we have the correct tool in it, and away we go. Now the one thing that's nice about this boot is if you're doing any filming, you can take the front off and I can give you a view of what that bit is doing in this case. Obviously going back and forth. And as simple as that, you can put the top back on or the face back on. This is the bottom of the box. Just trimming it close as I can to get it square. And then we do a test fit. Dry fitting with no glue, obviously. Once we confirm that everything fits together and the joints are acceptable. You're never going to get a perfect miter on each side. You'll have to do some tricks with that. Basically push some glue into the corner and use your sander without the dust collector on it, and it'll close those miters for you. Act like Picasso and put the glue on there with expert skill. That's a joke. I just slop it on there. Trying not to get it on the face of the project, obviously. I put glue on both sides because that is an end grain and it's not the strongest joint in the world. And typically on these boxes I would put splines in the corners, but I couldn't locate any really dark wood and that's what I wanted to put on it. I may go back in later after I'm finished and put some splines in. Now for those of you in the know, that's Mr. Atlas. He's our shop buddy and he always gets attention while we're out there. And like I said, when your wife wants fruit on the top of the box, you put fruit on the top of the box. I typically just create the relief in the center with oversized stock and then use the table saw to cut it down to the correct dimension. Taking the old clamps off, fancy spin, we got a box. Now here's an interesting thing. I actually took a 90-degree V-bit. I programmed the machine and told the machine that I was using a 1/4 inch end mill. I did a follow along tool path, basically lying to the computer. I put a V-bit in when I was told that I was using an end mill. Puts a nice little chamfer on the edge there, or bevel. Here we'll trim it down to the correct size. We'll get it as close as we can. I'll put the hinges on. There'll be a little excess box hanging over, a little excess lid hanging over the edge of the box. And I'll use some blue tape to close the box and secure it closed, and then it's over to the belt sander to flush up the edges and the ends and make sure everything is exactly the same. And you'll see that here in just a second. Cutting out the little notches so that the hinges will recess in nicely. There you go, perfect. Had my helper here putting the hinges on. Prettiest helper in the shop. And as I said, blue tape holding it together, and then we run it on the belt sander to make sure that that is a smooth surface with no overhang. We'll do both sides. And then it's on to finish. This is exterior polyurethane. I use that just because I really like the way it goes on. I like the finish when it's done. As always, I hope you got something out of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked this box. If you did, give me a like, share the video. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one.